Thomas and Friends, Big World, Big Adventures is a pretty good idea. You definitely need to suspend disbelief even more than usual when it comes to Thomas, but it works quite well. This is a feature film that was released originally in 2018. It's directed by David Stoten, and Thomas gets the idea to travel around the world, which is quite a nice ambition to have, and he does so with the help, well, maybe help's not the right word, but certainly alongside this car called Ace. Now, Ace is not a very nice character, but it's certainly a very interesting character. And Thomas initially goes to Africa, and while there, he has to pull some trucks and he meets an engine called Nia. Nia, I think, is a really great character and I love the design of her. We have so many different trains in this, different vehicles, really great to see, very, very well animated. And Thomas then travels across the world and goes to well, quite a few different places. I won't say exactly where else he goes, as I don't want to spoil it. I didn't look ahead, and it was quite fun to see which country he was going to next, or which continent, and what the trains there would be like. And I thought that was a pretty fun concept. You do definitely need to suspend disbelief, even more than usual with a show or a film about talking trains. But if you can do that, then I think it's pretty fun. It's relatively educational about different countries and continents, and I think it's a pretty fun story. There is some nostalgia for me watching it, but it's most certainly not as nostalgic as the classic Thomas series. But I grew up watching a lot of Thomas, so just the concept of Thomas takes me straight back to my childhood. Granted, this was only released five and a bit years ago now, so I wasn't quite a child at the time. So not specifically nostalgic, but Thomas as a character, we see the Fat Controller, and we do see some of the other classic Thomas trains whenever we have scenes in Sodor. There are some of them, and it's certainly nostalgic in parts. Ultimately, it's not a bad story. I probably wouldn't ever watch it again, but I was in the mood for something Thomas, something that I hadn't seen, and Big World, Big Adventures seemed like a really great idea. Not too bad at all. If you're a fan of Thomas, whether you grew up watching Thomas or you're a recent fan, then I'd say it's worth checking out. It's not a bad feature film. The animation is great, the pacing is great. We have some really interesting characters. There are some obviously opportunities for learning about different continents and countries, and we have all of these different characters that he meets along the way. It's not bad at all. Not my favourite Thomas film, but certainly I enjoyed it well enough.